wait 1 minute 25 seconds to live stream. So everything records. And hopefully I get some gameplay with this Pascal Siakam. So only a couple of seconds left. And I'm going to start 1 minute 25 seconds. Okay, 1 minute 25 seconds. Welcome to Victory A. Welcome to my live stream. And today, my live stream will be a gameplay of 100A overall, Pascal Siakam, Conference Semifinals Player Master Card. He gives a boost, +4 mid-range to team, active boost and bench boost, inside scoring 104, outside scoring 96, rebounding 107. Let's look at his stats. 101 3-point shot, dunking 107, layup 105. And all these stats right here. Let's go to showdown, and then we're going to play against my different teams. And we're going to use our conference semifinals lineup. First game, thank you for coming. And first game I'm going to try to play. But then the other games, I'm going to autoplay it. So hopefully it loads. This time I'm not playing against Facebook friends because this is my main account. You rarely see my main account, but I got this Pascal Siakam card a couple days ago. He has a 100 Ben Simmons. Thank you for coming, and I'm going to go. Thank you for that 1 heart. So I'm going to try to actually play this game because it's a Pascal Siakam gameplay. And then no defense at all, and immediately 1 dunk. So pretty good move for the first move. And I'm gonna go on my computer and see who came. Thank you for coming. Hello, Intelligent Giant. Thank you for coming. And hello, Zhang Ming Lim. Thank you for coming. I hope you're both well. So I usually autoplay, but this Pascal Siakam, I'm going to. Pretty good layup. It says layup, but one-handed shot. We're pretty good offensively so far. And I think his team's lower overall. I'm gonna autoplay defense, but I'm gonna play the offense. I have the ball now. Pretty good so far. Nice nice shot right there. We're open. It was a couple of days ago. The air quality was not that great. It's gotten better today, but yesterday it was pretty bad. How about you, Intelligent Giant? Nice dunk, Pascal Siakam, 109 dunk. So far, this card has been playing really well. I have Charlotte Hornets jerseys, and my opponent has Milwaukee Bucks jerseys. How's your air quality in San Diego? I hope you are well. Here's JaVale McGee, Patrick McCall. Luke Sports, hello. Thank you for coming. I appreciate your support. How are you? And then Pascal Siakam, let's shoot a 3 since he's playing so well. 20%. Bang! 3-point shot. And it's nice for the first game to actually play well. Let's autoplay the defense a little bit as we already won the game. It's nice to play well, and it's nice that the live stream is recording. So this is my main account, and I usually have to sign in to my main account. Let's try a mid-range shot right here. Makes that shot, makes everything right now. Pretty nice. Sims Mariam. Hello. Thank you for coming. How are you doing? And good morning to you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate the support. A couple seconds left. Pretty good. And since Mariam, she makes Sims videos, great Sims videos, Sims gaming. So check out her channel. She makes great videos, very funny. And Intelligent Giant makes very creative videos. History videos about quizzes and different creative stuff. So check out his channel, Intelligent Giant. Check out Luke Sports as well. It makes great videos about sports gaming. Let's open this later. To actually win this game, it's very rare I win the game. Now, if Showdown goes well, let's hurry up and play another game. So this is the master that I have. I got it 2 days ago. And my opponent has this basic cards. Good morning to you as well. Hope you're well. You eating breakfast? What are you eating for breakfast? And thank you for coming. I appreciate it. That's auto play defense, and then I think offense I'll play a little bit. As this is the Pascal Siakam gameplay. A little bit too tired to make a video about it, like actual video with voiceover, so I decided to do a live stream instead. Pascal Siakam, opened dunk, easy dunk. There's a D'Angelo Russell, a sandwich, awesome, a sandwich. What kind of sandwich? What's in your sandwich? What kind of meat or lettuce or something is in your sandwich? Is Pascal Siakam your best card? I think it is now, yeah. Pascal Siakam is my best card right now. Slam dunk. Pascal Siakam. Yeah, I just got him 2 days ago. The other players are bots. Yes, they're bots. So they're AI. We call them AI, artificial intelligence. So yeah, they're bots. But there's actually a way you actually could play live against other people. It's called Arena. So sometimes we could play live. The reason I'm not doing that is because it slows down the live stream. But you actually can play people live. Last season they started that. You could play people live, and you can't really talk to them, but they give us a little bit of like messages. Shoot a three. He probably doesn't miss this shot, right? Makes that shot. What? And there's like messages you could give, like good job and stuff like that. So yeah. BJ Gaming. Yo, thank you for coming. How are you doing? BJ Gaming, he makes a lot of NBA Live mobile videos, and he does a lot of live streaming. So check out his channel. He makes great videos. He used to live stream a lot. Pascal Siakam. I've been live streaming like every single day now. Slam dunk. 2020 Boston Celtics versus Miami Heat will be a very interesting series. Yeah, so it'll be very good. And I forgot to say that The Toronto Raptors today lost in Game 7. So the Boston Celtics won the series. So Boston Celtics and Miami Heat, Eastern Conference Finals. The Boston Celtics, Miami Heat. I hope Miami Heat wins, but I feel like the Boston Celtics will probably win. Now, whoever wins, that is randomly to Drew alley-oop to Brooke Lopez, Robin Lopez. But whoever wins, they're going to play in the NBA Finals. It's going to be them, East team versus the Lakers or the Clippers, pretty much. So, the way the playoffs have been so far, it looks like the team in the West is going to win the NBA Finals. Now, autoplay, and they still give it to Pascal Siakam. I hope the Celtics win, and I hope they do as well. I hope the underdog team wins. I support the underdog, and I also hope Miami Heat wins as well. Because Miami Heat, they're a large market team. It's Miami, Florida, but their team is like a small market team. Now I'm gonna try in league. I think I'm in the league here. I'm gonna try something. Now, if this main stream, I have to log in, but if it goes down, I'm going to just go to my normal account. But let's open later this account. I'm talking really quickly, but yeah, kind of nervous. And then league versus league. I think I have to wait one day. Hopefully, it doesn't slow down anything. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, this was my main account. So I can't play Intelligent Giant because this is my main account. It's my other account that I have that I could play you against. It's kind of confusing, but yeah. And what am I doing? So I'm gonna go back to Showdown. Sports Fan Center. Thank you for coming. Uh, so bad Raptors are out. Let's hurry up and play this. My Rockets are almost out too. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I definitely think the Rockets are going to lose. And I feel sorry for them because I like James Harden in the small ball lineup. Sorry, Intelligent Giant. So bad the Raptors are out. Yeah, I feel sorry for Raptors too. I would love for Miami Heat to win the championship because I think that team is underdog players, and that's like a small market team. Jimmy Butler, nobody believed in him, and he was a late first round pick. And then now they have a bunch of rookies like Tyler Hero, Chris Nunn. So I never expected, and nor did anybody from ESPN, none of the experts expected Miami Heat to do this well this season. Maybe they're a playoff team, but we didn't expect them to do this well. Pascal Siakam dunks. I feel really positive. Thank you for that, Intelligent Giant. Thank you. And yeah, go support each other if you can. If Giannis stays with the Bucks, that's great because the small market teams. Come on, go in. It freezes my account. Yeah, it freezes. I go back in. If I go back in, I'll continue playing with Pascal Siakam. But at least I recorded like twice. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to sign in. I hope Giannis stays with the Bucks, of course. And then I hope they find some other player, another star to play with them. And he wins a championship with Milwaukee. Because Milwaukee, if you know their history, they haven't won a championship since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So this is really, I really feel sorry for the small market teams. And you see a lot of the players, like Kevin Durant, for example, Oklahoma City, leaving their team. And Oklahoma City still cannot win a championship. So all those big stars that they draft, they develop, they end up going to Golden State or the Lakers or the Miami Heat or the Boston Celtics, and they go win a championship for the large market teams. So, because I'm like an underdog, so I always supported the small market teams. And right now it's just loading. It's really slow, but if you're still here, thank you for coming. Devin Booker needs a trade. There's a blue wedge icon next to my name. When I comment, do you know what that means? I think it's just like a long time ago, I think I made you a mold or something like that. I think that's what it means. In the live stream mode. Devin Booker needs a trade. Devin Booker, yes. I think that he's losing so much on the Phoenix Suns that a trade would benefit him and his career. And if Devin Booker was on a large market team, he would definitely be more in the spotlight. And he would kind of like Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol back then, Memphis Grizzlies. He was a good player, made the All-Star team, but you didn't know much about him. But then when he was traded to the LA Lakers to play with Kobe Bryant, immediately you hear so much about him. So it does help your career. It helps your brand. Tried to win 8-0. Yeah, I tried. The Phoenix Suns went 8-0 in the bubble and still didn't make the playoffs. Yep. So very disappointing. They can't win with the Phoenix Suns. The West is a very strong team, very deep team. Yes, we came back. We came back here. By the way, if this doesn't work, I'm going to go to the account I live stream usually, and I'm going to, I guess, just pick another Pascal Siakam card because that's the title of my video, and I'm just going to play the Facebook friends. I also am not connected to play the Facebook friends, so I have to do what do you call it, showdown again. And yeah, Devin Booker, let's just say he gets traded to Philadelphia 76ers for some reason. And he has to play with Ben Simmons. That would get more media attention. And that will help Devin Booker's career, help his brand a great deal. PT Fusion, thank you for coming. I hope the Clippers win in the East. I also hope the Clippers win. Actually, it's a battle for LA. Los Angeles Lakers versus LA Clippers. So the truth is that LA, if you're from LA area or Southern California, you both win. It doesn't matter who wins. But I root for the Clippers because they are historically a horrible team. And so let them win once in a while would be awesome. The Lakers, they have multiple championships. And most people from LA are Laker fans, Kobe Bryant fans, Magic Johnson fans. So let the Clippers win something. They're like the little brother, the little stepbrother that nobody cares about, nobody loves. And let them win something for once. And it looks like Kawhi Leonard, he signed a short-term deal with the Clippers. And I think Kawhi Leonard, he's going to leave the Clippers in 1 or 2 seasons. So we have Pascal Siakam with the ball. Easy dunk. And it has some little nice dunk animations. Slow motion. Yes, I hope the Clippers win in the West. I do too. So I hope it's the Clippers and the Miami Heat. And in that scenario, I hope the Clippers win the championship. Just because their is terrible. And they need a win. Now, Lakers, if they win, uh, it will be like winning for Kobe Bryant as he passed away earlier in 2020. So they have a lot to play for. So that'll be a great story. The NBA, that'll be a nice storyline for the NBA. Now, if the Miami Heat win, they'll be like an underdog team. Nobody believed in them. I also want to say Miami Heat, they're playing in Florida. It's Orlando, Florida, but it's a different city than Miami, but they basically have home court. And which is why the Orlando Magic actually did pretty well. They made the playoffs. I expected that because they made the playoffs at 8 seed because they have home court. No fans and everything, but home court. I'm excited for NBA Live Mobile Season 5. I am too. And what I'm most excited about, of course, and we don't know when it's going to happen, but I can't wait to see the 2020 NBA draft. Drafted players, LaMelo Ball, Killian Hayes, Anthony Edwards, and I can't wait till they're in the game. So they should be in the game soon, either this season, at the end of this season or something, or during the draft, and probably for sure they'll be there in season 5 of NBA Live Mobile. So that'll be very fun. Very fun. Curry with the ball. And thank you for coming. Thank you for the support. I'm auto playing, it, so it isn't too slow. You see that Gordon Hayward just alley ooped the ball to Dion Waiters, and he actually made the shot. So it'll be really fun, season 5, and like I said, hopefully they add shoes to the game, or at least change the color of the shoes, and different maybe headbands, sleeves. So I hope they expand upon the um, superstar items this season that are new. That's why I wanted the game, and hopefully they add some retro jerseys. Continue adding. I believe they and courts. I believe they still haven't added the Memphis Grizzlies, Vancouver Grizzly court. I still believe they haven't added that to the game, and they have its rights. They're playing against a team that has a lot of Dallas Maverick cards. How do I get the Oklahoma City Thunder Kevin Durant card in the game? I don't know. I don't know about that because I haven't been paying much attention to the game. So I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know about that. Now I know there was like a Oklahoma City Thunder um, Kevin Durant card. They had to pay money for money spent players a long time ago. As Pascal Siakam makes that shot. So I don't know if it's the same one. But I assume you either had to grind and do some kind of set for some kind of Kevin Durant card. So I don't know about that. Curry makes a shot. I think we're a match against an opponent that has a different lineup as ours. I appreciate the support. My opponent has a Curry. And we're going to continue making, we're trying to play this game. Steven Adams with a layup shot. Nice shot by Steven Adams. Tomorrow there'll be a new promo, which would be awesome. It'll be probably some kind of conference finals, NBA playoffs promo. And that'll be pretty cool. Pretty cool. And hopefully there's new players and new cards in the game. Luka Doncic was slam dunk. Quinn Cook with the ball. We get a shot blocked. Curry has the ball. Steven Adams, long mid-range shot. And he actually makes that shot. Wow. Now, Steven Adams, I feel like that once Russell Westbrook left Oklahoma City Thunder and Kevin Durant left, I wish that Steven Adams would offensively shoot the ball more and get his points up. I want him to make the All-Star team. And he's still young. He's almost like a veteran in the NBA now. But no, he's still young. He's not an old player or anything like that. But on Oklahoma City Thunder, he's been there for so long. It feels like he's like an old player that's about to retire or something. But no, he's quite young. He is only 27 years old, born 1993. So the same age as Anthony Davis, who's in his prime of his NBA career. And Steven Adams, technically, based off his age, is in the prime of his NBA career. So I want him to make the All-Star team, even if it's just one time. I want him to make the All-Star team. I always like Steven Adams. And he's been on Oklahoma City Thunder, I think, the longest of any player. DTW the Baller, thank you for coming. How are you doing? And I'm going to check your question really quickly on my computer. Who is the best European player in NBA history? Best European player is Dirk Nowitzki, I would say. Dirk Nowitzki won one NBA championship with Dallas Mavericks. And I think points, in terms of points and everything, he's their best player. And then DTW the Baller. There won't be new cards, just new card art. We're going to get LeBron, Giannis, and Kawhi again. Maybe one leaderboard card. Good info. Thank you for telling me about that. I know some other people have posted about the new promo. I do wish that they have different type of cards though. And so we have a lot of LeBron cards. And I definitely think we have Giannis and Kawhi cards before. So I do wish that they gave us new cards, different players. Even if they're just role players. It doesn't have to be the stars. So, if you gave us like a Gordon Dragic card. Like make him a master. Or give us like a Alex Caruso card. Make him a master. I'll be quite happy. My opponent, this is actually live in Arena. My opponent, Jordan Dragic. And this slows it down, but so I can't really. Anytime live stream or Arena, it slows down. Pascal Siakam. Slam dunk. Actually makes a slam dunk. Now, I'm not going to try to play defense because it's going to be really slow. The only reason I'm playing Arena is because Gordon Dragic was The reason I'm playing Arena is because Showdown, it makes you wait. That's a 3-point shot. He probably gonna miss that shot. Well, I actually made it. Steve Nash is the best European player. Steve Nash is Canadian. Yeah, Steve Nash is Canadian. So that's North America, not Europe. So I definitely think it's Dirk. The other players you could say is Manu Ginobili. He's won the most championships of probably of any European. I think he has 4 NBA championships with the Spurs. So another you would say is Manu Ginobili, but Manu Ginobili only made the All-Star team twice. And Dirk's made the All-Star team multiple times. We actually tied the game. Yeah, you can't shoot an arena lag. That 3-point shot in arena is not. It's very hard to make. And even in the live stream of arena, it gives me like a huge lag. So I'm gonna go after this game. If Showdown gets better, hopefully it gets better, because this is gonna freeze my live stream. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's live or something. Um, let's try alley oop. Nope. Luka Doncic with a shot. Try and hit a half court shot with Pascal Siakam. Okay. Let's see if I could get him. And the most half court shots you cannot make it. So Intelligent Giant told me to do a half court shot. And I'll do it right here. Try a half court shot. Misses that shot. And half court shots, you can't make them. Ginobili's better at defense and can shoot more threes more effectively. You're saying Ginobili's better than Dirk? It's really hard to say that Dirk is not the best, because Dirk Nowitzki. Yeah, Dirk has 1 championship, but I think offensively, Dirk has way more points than Ginobili. And Ginobili and the San Antonio Spurs was a little bit like their 6th man. And in the NBA playoffs has played incredibly well. Goran Dragic. Alonzo Mourning steals my ball. Pretty good. Let's try alley-oop. Let me make that shot. I'm quite impressed with the Pascal Siakam is actually playing well for me. Goran Dragic, make that shot. Pascal Siakam, make that shot. Okay, now hopefully that showdown. We're gonna end the arena match and go back to showdown. Dirk has great shooting touch like a guard. Goran Dragic is basically Ginobili and Dirk. And Dirk was very slow. By the way, Luka Doncic, if he continues playing the way he does, he'll eventually probably be the best European player to play in the NBA. Now, an old school player that also that you could say was the best player is Arvis Sabonis, which is Dante Sabonis' father. But he only played in the NBA for a couple seasons, Sabonis, so you cannot really say he's the greatest. But if you look him up, he's like one of the greatest European players to ever play the game, and played in the Olympics a lot. Now back then, Russia used to be a communist country called Soviet Union. And they used to have like Eastern European players. They used to be called. They used to play for a team. There used to be a country called Yugoslavia, which I think is a collection of different European countries, Eastern European countries. And so Sabonis would play with other different players from Eastern Europe, and their team was called Slovenia. No, their team was called Yugoslavia. Luka is only good right now because he's on a team full of one-sided players. Luka needs to improve his defensive skills. Yes, I agree. And but Luka is only his second season, and he's going to improve for sure. Luka, I think is I don't really pay much attention, but Luka Doncic is he better at defense than Trae Young? Because everybody says Trae Young's defense is really bad. So is Luka better at defense than Trae Young? Now, Luka, when he was drafted in the NBA, like before the draft, people said Luka was like a white James Harden. If James Harden was like a European player, so it's compared to James Harden a lot. Is he gonna pass the ball and score? So I thought that comparison is a little bit funny, but it's pretty true. He's like a white James Harden. And of course, James Harden, his defense is not that great. Or at least people make fun of him for his defense. JJR Redick has a clutch ability, 3-point clutch. And I think this is a JJR Redick that's like 80 overall or something. Yeah. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money, a lot of coins, you can get that JJR Redick. Lower overall card, but with a boost and a clutch ability. Hard to explain. They are different positions. James Harden actually has defense. Yes, James Harden now has improved his defense this season. Pascal Siakam misses that shot. Porzingis with a shot. So DTW the baller said Luka is a shooting guard. He's playing point guard because Jalen Brunson isn't that good, and it's also just speaking of NBA Live Mobile. If you play season and they have their teams that they create in the beginning, and Luka Doncic is a shooting guard card, and a point guard is Jalen Brunson. So EA, and before the season started, the NBA season. EA thought that Luka was a shooting guard, and then of course Luka changed positions and became a point guard. Initially, they had Jalen Brunson at point guard, shooting guard Luka Doncic, small forward they had Justin Jackson, power forward Kristaps Porzingis, and center they have Dwight Powell. So that's what for NBA Live Mobile the season one. I mean NBA Live Mobile for season. They have those cards at that position. They haven't changed it yet. Well, same with Kobe Bryant. He doesn't play defense and makes them play. He does play defense and makes them play, but we didn't notice it. I believe Kobe Bryant was a very good defensive player, or at least he was like nonstop in playing the game, from what I remember. And Kobe Bryant made the defensive first team, second team a lot in the NBA. He never won Defensive Player of the Year. And Michael Jordan did win that 1 year. Chicago Bulls court and jerseys, and I have Milwaukee Bucks jerseys. If I don't have any Toronto Raptors jerseys, so far live streams in terms of connections, done pretty well. And you got to see Pascal Siakam for a lot of games. In the beginning, a little bit, there was like a log off the game, but doing pretty well. Porzingis with the ball. And I think it's kind of disappointing to change the topic a little bit. I think it's quite sad that the Houston Rockets small ball lineup isn't doing too well, like in terms of winning. So that's very disappointing. I want them to do well. I think that's the future of the NBA, that small ball lineup. I think there's not going to be a lot of centers in the NBA. And a lot of short players. Like PJ Tucker is 6'5". And I like to see Houston Rockets make James Harden the center. And he's also 6'5". James Harden is 6'5", the same height as PJ Tucker. And I think they should make James Harden a center. Just for fun. I want to see him play center. And then, I guess, add more shorter players. And make it even smaller lineup. Just for fun. Now, the Lakers are going to defeat the Houston Rockets. They still have a couple games left, but the Houston Rockets are probably going to lose to the Lakers, but no surprise there. No surprise. Everybody expected the Lakers to defeat the Houston Rockets. No shock there. Nobody really believed in Russell Westbrook and James Harden when Russell Westbrook was traded to the Houston Rockets. Nobody really believed in them, except maybe people from Houston, Texas, that actually live there and are Houston Rockets fan. Nobody believed that James Harden and Russell Westbrook are going to win a championship together. That's the truth. Nobody believed in them. Just like nobody believed in the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler being a championship contender. Nobody believed in them. In fact, it's hard to believe that Miami Heat is doing so well. When is the NBA Finals? I'm not sure, but probably in like 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. This should be the NBA Finals, but they have to play their conference finals games and see who wins. If they don't go to Game 7 or something, it should be soon. Also, I wanted to say just to talk about that. Right now, if there's regular NBA, it will be the off season right now. In fact, right now, if you watch the games, it feels a little bit like Summer League sometimes. If you remember Summer League, especially, I believe it was in Orlando, they actually had Orlando Magic had Summer League back then. Not even back then, like a couple, just like last season, and then they had like the rookies and other players, undrafted players in the Summer League, and there's no audience, and you get to play. They have a camera there. So Orlando Summer League, they had no audience, if you remember that, if you watched that back then. And there, of course, the more famous Summer League is in Las Vegas, and they had a lot of audience. But right now, technically, summer's over, but a couple weeks ago, everybody's playing. It feels like Summer League. So the Summer League right now, of course, was canceled. Jimmy Butler isn't the best player in the Heat. It's Bam. I could see that point. Bam being the best player. But Bam is only, I believe, his second year in the NBA. So he's very young. So the fact is that Miami Heat being this good this soon is actually quite surprising to me. Now, Jimmy Butler, he was on Minnesota Timberwolves a couple of seasons ago with Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. They just made the playoffs like an 8 seed. So they didn't do well. And then last season when he was on the Sixers with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. They made it to the second round, but they lost to Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors. And by the way, when you talk about last season, the Philadelphia 76ers, I don't think anybody would say that Jimmy Butler is the best player on the Sixers last season. They would probably say Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons are the best player on the Sixers, and then the third best player will be Jimmy Butler. And then the other players will be Tobias Harris or someone like that. Will be their fourth best player. So the fact is that Jimmy Butler signed with the Miami Heat and was a place that nobody really wanted to sign. In fact, not many teams really even wanted Jimmy Butler. The Lakers did not try to sign Jimmy Butler. And other teams did not try to get Jimmy Butler. Because he has a lot of baggage. And some people really like him, but some people really dislike Jimmy Butler. Because he has an old school personality and yells at his teammates to win. Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose should have been a sixth man in the Lakers. Yes, and I believe Derrick Rose on the Detroit Pistons actually has been playing quite well. So maybe in the offseason or something, the Lakers or the Miami Heat or Boston Celtics will try to sign him as he's been playing well. I feel like Derrick Rose has been in the NBA for a long time, but he's actually quite young. So the injury really hurt his career. Because I remember he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he was basically like a six-man or bench player, role player for the Cavaliers when LeBron James were trying to win another championship. And I feel like that's ages ago. Traded away. And he still was dealing with injuries at the time. Yeah, so it'll be nice to see Derrick Rose win a championship one day as a role player on a team like the Lakers or Clippers or Miami Heat or something like that. Quinn Cook. I believe Quinn Cook actually has hair, but they haven't bald in this game. I believe Quinn Cook has hair. Markelle Fultz with the ball. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the ball. I was talking about just a couple of weeks ago, of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder were playing really well and took the Houston Rockets to Game 7, which is pretty impressive considering nobody really believed in the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, but the best player on that team, or at least the most popular player, was probably Lou Dort, Stort, and everybody's talking about him after that playoffs. But I was trying to find if he has a card in NBA Live Mobile, even a silver card or something like that. But he does not have a card in NBA Live Mobile. And I believe EA has his rights, so hopefully, maybe it's not the next promo, but one day, hopefully they have him in the game. Lou Dort. Because they have a lot of Oklahoma City Thunder players in the game. David Noel. And other players in the game. Dennis Schroeder. Ben Simmons is okay of a player, but I don't think he's better than Jimmy Butler. Yeah, Jimmy Butler is better. Yes, right now you would say Jimmy Butler is better than Ben Simmons, but if you go back a couple seasons ago, even last season, you probably would not say that, just because Ben Simmons has been really hyped up as a player. He's been incredibly hyped up by the media and all that, so You probably wouldn't say that a couple of seasons ago, but now the Sixers are playing really poorly. And so you'll hear more people say that. And Jimmy Butler, I think everybody would say he's better than Ben Simmons now. But not a couple of seasons ago, you probably would not say that. Yeah, check out each other's channels and support each other. And DTW the Baller makes great NBA Live mobile videos. And Intelligent Giant plays NBA Live mobile Intelligent Giant plays NBA Live mobile a lot since season 1. So he's like a veteran of the game. And Intelligent Giant also makes very creative videos. A lot of hit quizzes and history videos. And a lot of creative DIY videos. And Jungming Lim. Check out his channel too. He makes great videos as well. Quinn Cook with the ball. Jimmy Butler is more a bad boys type, Pistons type of player. I agree. He has an old school personality to him, like from the 90s. And he's definitely old school. Jimmy Butler. But if you look at, if you name the top players in the NBA, even if the Miami Heat are winning now, if you name like the top players in the NBA, nobody would say that Jimmy Butler is like the top 5 best player in the NBA. Nobody would say that. If I told you that, if I said James Harden or Jimmy Butler, who's the better player, you would still say James Harden. Even though James Harden cannot lead his team to a championship, you'll still say James Harden is the better player. And you still say, let's say Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's the better player, him or Jimmy Butler? Even though the Bucks lost in the playoffs, you'll still say Giannis is a better player than Jimmy Butler. So I don't think he's a top 5 player in the NBA, which is why I think the Miami Heat, if they make the NBA Finals, will lose to the Lakers or Clippers. Unless there's an upset, which if the Miami Heat defeat the Lakers or Clippers in the NBA Finals, I will call that an upset. In fact, I will even say that the Boston Celtics, if they could defeat the Clippers or Lakers in the NBA Finals, I will call that an upset as well. Because I still think the East teams are kind of weak. Yeah, Jimmy Butler is not favored in the media. But now that the Miami Heat are winning, you probably hear more about how great he is. But again, you rarely see that Jimmy Butler calling him the top 5 player on a team. You rarely hear that. I still think the Miami Heat are quite a surprising team. I do not think they'll do well in the playoffs because if you look at the past NBA history, they have a lot of rookies like Tyler Hero. Bam is quite young. Duncan Robinson is quite young. Chris Nunn is a rookie. The rookies usually do not do well in the playoffs. Usually they do not do well. Unless there's some strange year where like Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell, their rookie year, played really well. Their rookie year. Unless there's some strange season like that. Pascal Siakam with a dunk. Now another player that's kind of overhyped is Jason Tatum. Just like Ben Simmons, his rookie year, incredible rookie year, and then next few seasons, they kind of came back down to earth. They're not as great as anymore. But Jason Tatum still made the All-Star team. Ben Simmons still made the All-Star. Jason Tatum, he's all right. He's still an All-Star and everything, but not as dominant, in my opinion. Not as talked about when he now versus when he was a rookie. Harden, LeBron, Giannis, Chris, Kawhi Leonard. Jimmy is a top 20 player in the NBA, in my opinion. Yeah, Jimmy Butler for sure is a top 20 player in the NBA. He might even be a top 10 player if you count how many players in the NBA. But he's definitely an underrated player. Jason Tatum isn't necessarily a good player. He just holds the ball too long. Yeah, definitely could be a criticism, Jason Tatum. And certain teams, sometimes they have certain players that the coach tells them to shoot the ball a lot or holds the ball a lot, and they're kind of a part of the offense. They are the offense, and sometimes certain players look really good in that system. Another player a good example of that would be like the 2016 Boston Celtics. Bunch of role players on the team, and their best player offensively was Isaiah Thomas, who's only 5'9". Now Isaiah Thomas has incredible seasons with the Boston Celtics and makes the All-Star team. Is even MVP in the MVP conversation, but he's only 5'9", and so you don't expect him to be that great of a player. You would not call Isaiah Thomas a top 5 player back then, or even a top 10 player, because he is so short. He has a lot of heart and everything, but you would probably not call him top 5 player. So that Boston Celtic team, Isaiah Thomas, Marcus Smart, Kelly Olynyk, you did not expect them to win the NBA championship because they have a lot of role players. And Isaiah Thomas, even you could debate how good is he. And what happens is they lost. They did lose eventually. He didn't pass it to Kemba for a whole 7 games. Yeah, and that is probably a criticism of him. By the way, DWY the Baller, I asked you, who do you think is the best player on the Boston Celtics? Do you think it's Jason Tatum, or do you think it's maybe Jaylen Brown or Kemba Walker? By the way, today we say we respect Kemba Walker, but when Kemba Walker was on the Charlotte Hornets, and that was a mediocre team, Kemba Walker at the time, not many people respected him in his game, so they thought he was not that good. I remember their trade rumors, Cleveland Cavaliers. They lost Kyrie Irving. They're saying, should we trade for Kemba Walker? And people are saying, even if you trade for Kemba Walker and you make it to the NBA Finals with LeBron James, Kemba Walker, and Kevin Love, that team's still not good enough to defeat the Golden State Warriors. Because Golden State Warriors at the time have Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. So it doesn't matter if you have Kemba Walker with LeBron James. Kemba Walker, LeBron James on the Cavs back then does not win a championship over Golden State and Kevin Durant and all those 4 great players. Hello, Michael Jordan. Thank you for coming. How are you? And seriously, Jaylen Brown or Kemba Walker? And yes, the best player could be Jaylen Brown or Kemba Walker on the Boston Celtics. Now, unfortunately, this year, I predicted there to be upsets, and there hasn't really been an upset, really. You could say the Miami Heat defeating the Milwaukee Bucks as an upset, but there really, in my opinion, hasn't been many upsets in the NBA playoffs. I think even though the games have been intense and been really fun to watch, I don't think there's really any upsets. So I think it's kind of boring. So I think it's going to be the Lakers or Clippers, whoever wins in the Western Conference Finals. That's basically like the NBA Finals this year. Whoever is going to come out of that is probably going to win the championship. Now anything can happen because there's no Golden State type of team, 4 All-Stars and everything like that. And so anything can happen. But I don't expect the Miami Heat or the Boston Celtics to win a championship this year. But maybe they could do it. I don't know. Maybe they could do it. I'd say Jaylen Brown's the best on the Celtics. He's an all-around player. And Jaylen Brown's been playing really well. Hopefully next season he makes the All-Star team. Hopefully. I don't play Arena much live because on the live stream it's really slow. So I'm gonna hurry up. You can't even autoplay it. Wow, that's slow. It's slowed down. I think it's just Arena. Oh, hurry up. I hope it goes. If it locks me off, I'm gonna go back to my other account. I don't like the Warriors because they always win most of the time. Yes, back then, of course. A lot of people hating on the Warriors because they keep winning. It makes the sport kind of boring. Unless you are a Golden State Warriors fan, and that's awesome then. And you get to see their dynasty. And that's kind of the same reason people don't like the Lakers back then. They keep winning championships. The Celtics won't win because the staff only goes Jason Tatum. Yeah, he's a power forward. And yes, we'll see. Hurry up. And hopefully Jason Tatum plays and hopefully they pass the ball more and Kemba Walker contributes more and Gordon Hayward is healthy. Jaylen Brown plays well. Now, Boston Celtics, they still a team. I've been logged off the game, but I'm going to try to go back in. Now, if I get logged off my main account, I'm going to go back to my old account. I'm not linked with Facebook friends, but still going to try to play. 1 hour live stream. I still have 40%. That's a long time. So I'm going to go all the way. Now, for some reason, I think the Boston Celtics are probably going to defeat the Miami Heat. But it'd probably go either way. I personally want to see Miami Heat in the NBA Finals with that team. And I don't know. It's hard for me to pick. They will win a championship that Gordon Hayward, when Gordon Hayward's on for the whole team, does better. Interesting, yeah. A lot of people say that. No, I don't get to watch the Boston Celtics much, but a lot of people say that. But I always felt that Gordon Hayward is a little bit overrated. I always feel like Gordon Hayward is a little bit overrated. I think that, and of course he's been injury prone. But I always felt like, I feel like if Gordon Hayward, even if he's healthy, I do not think that the Boston Celtics will defeat the LA Lakers or the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't think that's going to happen, in my opinion. So even if they have the most healthy Gordon Hayward, I still don't think they could defeat the Lakers. That's just my opinion. But he would definitely help them a lot, Gordon Hayward. This is the first time in the playoffs that neither the first and second team didn't make the conference finals. And that's an upset. This is the first time in playoffs that neither the first or second team didn't make it the conference finals. In the East, I can see that point. Jungmin Lim. I can see that point. Yeah, I guess you could call it an upset in that sense. But I don't know. I saw the Milwaukee Bucks. You watch the NBA a long time. You kind of knew the Milwaukee Bucks were going to lose. Even they have the number 1 seed. You kind of knew they were going to lose. So Because they're kind of a one-man team, in my opinion. Interesting point. DTW, the baller. But Gordon Hayward, I still think he's very injury prone, though. He has a lot of injuries. Okay, and then we got back into the game. That's good. And it's still my main account. It was quite surprising. I think I get tokens for these to play showdown, right? So I'm actually getting tokens, yeah. Zion Williamson is also an injury prone player. Yes, he is. So Zion Williamson, he probably is going to be injury prone in his career. So I'll make the comparison right now to 2007 NBA draft. The most hyped player was Greg Oden. And then every team would have selected Greg Oden with the first overall pick. But the second overall pick was Kevin Durant. And of course, Kevin Durant's the better player now. I'm autoplay this. Now, 2019 NBA draft, the most hyped up player is Zion Williamson. If you look at his body type, he looks like a player that's kind of going to get injured a lot. Now, Ja Morant was second overall pick. So, and I feel like Ja Morant is going to be like Kevin Durant in the sense that they're probably going to be the best players in that draft. Ja Morant and Kevin Durant, best overall players, probably in that draft. And then the first overall picks that people picked ahead of them, Greg Oden, Zion Williamson, are probably going to have injury-prone careers. Now, Zion Williamson, I hope he's healthy. I hope he becomes not only an all-star, but a Hall of Famer. I hope he's all healthy and everything. But he looks like an injury-prone player. And I also think that Luka Doncic might also be an injury-prone player. There's certain players that just get injured a lot, like Gordon Hayward. Freezy Capalot, hey, thank you for coming. How are you? Thank you for coming. Lonzo Ball hype is gone. Yes, Lonzo Ball was hyped up in the draft, and there's certain players that was hyped up. And Lonzo Ball, I watched the Lakers kind of closely, and I've seen Lonzo Ball, as you've seen, low lights. That's the first time I ever seen a player with low lights. And they put it on, some people put it on YouTube as a joke. And Lonzo Ball, I've seen him try to lay the ball up when he's like open, and he cannot lay the ball up. So like he misses the shot like really badly. Sometimes very embarrassing moments from Lonzo Ball. So he needs more confidence in his game or something like that. But very, in my opinion, very poor offensive player, Lonzo Ball. Zion Williamson's body type is better playing the NFL. I also agree with that. He definitely looks more like a football player. Now, he isn't exactly fat or anything, but he has muscle, but he looks kind of fat. I don't know why. For a basketball player, he looks fat. And if you watch the NBA a lot, the skinnier players are better. Skinny, long, and tall. Long arms and long legs. The skinnier the player, the better. You don't need muscles. You don't need muscles that much in the NBA. So Kevin Durant, very skinny. And sometimes people back then are like, Kevin Durant or even Kevin Garnett, very skinny. And they're like, oh my God, how's he going to play in the NBA so skinny? But they usually actually do well in the NBA. Skinny players. Because it's basketball. It's not football. Football, though, you want a Zion Williamson type of body. Reza Capital again. Hey, thanks for coming. Intelligent Giant, I agree. Yes, I also agree with that. I remember you a little bit. There's a lot of people write to me, so sometimes I forget. Do you make like NBA mixes Freezy Capalot. Look at a person with the same body type as well, plays like a little bit like Zion Williamson. Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin and his body type is, in my opinion, way better than Zion Williamson. And Blake Griffin is also injury prone, which is quite surprising. Now, Blake Griffin, when he was the consensus #1 overall pick, every team would have picked him in like 2009 NBA draft. Pick him over Harden, James Harden, pick him over Stephen Curry. Everybody would pick Blake Griffin at the time because he was incredible at dunking the ball in Oklahoma University. But even he's injury prone. And I saw a long time ago Blake Griffin, drafted by LA Clippers, right? Blake Griffin, he's like practicing with like a tire. He's trying to like move a tire. And that's how the trainers trained him. And I thought, hey, that's impressive and everything. But at the end of the day, it's still basketball. So you still have to play basketball. So you could run a marathon. You can run in the hills, run the mountain. Lonzo Ball sometimes does that. And Jamal Murray does that. But at the end of the day, you still have to practice the basketball, shooting the ball and everything. You still have to practice your game. So in my opinion, you can do all the exercises you want. You get all the muscles you want. But usually, those players do not do well in the NBA. Or not that great. So Blake Griffin could move a tire all he wants, but he's not that great of a player, unfortunately. Now, Blake Griffin, Clutch Gill Gaming, Clutch Gill, happy 1K. Thank you for that, and thank you for your support. You have a new video. Okay, I'll check your new video out later. Zion Williamson is overrated. Yes, I do think he's overrated. And Blake Griffin Blake Griffin, he improved his game a lot as he got older, and he does have more 3-point shooting and long mid-range shots, so he has to improve his game. But like I said, now there's a person that really in the media that really dislike Blake Griffin. This is the top of my head. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. He first take, right? He does not really like Blake Griffin. If you go back and look at his video, him talking about Blake Griffin, he says that Blake Griffin is not a superstar. That he's a star, but he's not a superstar. That you should not build your team around him. So you never liked Blake Griffin for some reason. And then I always hate when people say that, but sometimes, as you see, the Clippers cannot win a championship with Blake Griffin as their best player. And you can say Chris Paul is their best player, and Chris Paul is a really short player, like 6 feet, 6'1". So it's messed up, yeah. But certain players, if you build your team around them, you cannot win a championship, unfortunately. Now, Houston Rockets are experiencing this right now. They build their team. Daryl Morey went to MIT, has a degree there. He's very intelligent. He's a genius, Daryl Morey. But he chose to build his team around James Harden. And he hired Mike D'Antoni, who has never won a championship. And people criticize him a lot. So, those are the head coach he picked and the best player he chose to build his team around. And as you see right now, they cannot win a championship. The Houston Rockets, even though I really like them. Bye. Thank you for coming, Freeze Capalot. Do you know any dunker that doesn't get injured often, injury prone? Any dunker that doesn't get injured much? Off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Off the top of my head, I believe Dwight Howard. Now, Dwight Howard has injuries, but back then, Dwight Howard, for Orlando Magic, he played a lot of games. So I thought Dwight Howard, I wouldn't call him injury prone, but I guess you could call him injury prone as well. But I thought Dwight Howard has played long enough in the NBA where he hasn't really been injury prone. But he has injuries too. Yeah, so when you dunk a lot, you get your chances of getting injured are much higher. That's the truth. And but younger players, they could dunk, and it's okay. Older players, if they dunk, they'll get injured more. So you see, like Vince Carter, when he's really old, he doesn't dunk as much anymore. Maybe Vince Carter. Vince Carter was not injured much, and he dunked a lot. But I remember Kobe Bryant, when he's about to retire, his last 2 seasons in the NBA with the Lakers, he dunked a basketball and he injured his hand or his arm. And then he was 38 years old, which is old for an NBA basketball player, but it's not old for like a normal life. And he got injured. So the older players, if they dunk a lot, which is why older players don't dunk as much, they lay the ball in and stuff like that. Yeah, I also say Vince Carter. It's weird LeBron James is immune to injury. LeBron James, and you can say if you call him a dunker, LeBron James, even today, has incredible dunks. Incredible dunk. And he is 35 years old, as I said. And in 2003 NBA draft, the players that he came, played in the NBA with, Dwayne Wade is retired now. Chris Bosh is retired. Carmelo Anthony is like a shell of his old self. He's not as great as he was when he first came into the NBA. And LeBron James is that's why they call him the GOAT. The greatest of all time. LeBron James at 35 years old is still better than a lot of other players and still can dunk the basketball. As you see, he has Alex Caruso to pass him the ball. Alley-oop. Incredible dunks. And he blocking Russell Westbrook. All the time from what I've seen the play out. Incredible player, LeBron James. His body type, his body is like freakishly good in terms of like, I don't call him, and I mean that in a good way, freakishly good. Incredible body. I don't know what he's eating. I know that he trains a lot and he even sleeps in like some kind of chamber where his body can improve or something with age, but he's an incredibly good player. At 35 years old, I would even argue LeBron James is better than James Harden. And James Harden is like 31 years old. I think LeBron James at 35 years old is better than James Harden. I think LeBron James is better than Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook is like 31 years old. So they're in sort of their prime of their careers. A little bit past their prime. But LeBron James is better than them. It's the truth. Why isn't LeBron on the same level in MJ? Well, depending on who you ask, older people will say Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time that watched him play in the 90s. Younger kids will say LeBron James is the greatest player ever. So they play in different eras of basketball. I would say, though, that LeBron James, you can make the argument that he's better than Michael Jordan in the sense that LeBron James' longevity of his career, he has played in the NBA for so many seasons, and Michael Jordan retired 3 times. He retired 1 time, and then the second time, 2 times with the Chicago Bulls, and then the last time with the Washington Wizards. So you could say that in terms of longevity, LeBron James, and I believe LeBron James, if I'm correct, he already passed him in points. Michael Jordan points, because Michael Jordan retired a lot. So I'm pretty sure LeBron James, if he hasn't already, LeBron James probably has already played in more games than Michael Jordan. LeBron James is the best player in the NBA right now. Yeah, it's crazy to say that, especially that since he's 35 years old, and I would agree with you, Intelligent Giant. LeBron James probably is the best player in the NBA right now. Now, other people would say it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Other people might say it's James Harden, but and of course Kevin Durant's injured. Other people might say it's Kawhi Leonard. But even though LeBron's 35 years old, he can make the case he's the best player in the NBA. Which is why I think the Lakers will probably eventually win the championship because they have LeBron James. And then just use this scenario. Let's just use the example. The Lakers, right? With Anthony Davis and LeBron James. If LeBron James was injured or LeBron James did not play, and it's just Anthony Davis and the Lakers, just Anthony Davis and the Lakers in the same roster, I do not think the Lakers would even make the playoffs with just Anthony Davis. Or if they make the playoffs, they're probably like a eighth seed or 7th seed. So that's what I believe. That's how impactful LeBron is. LeBron James makes the Lakers a championship contender, even though he's 35 years old. And seriously, 35 years old is really old for a player, NBA player. LeBron James is older than Chris Paul, and everybody's. If you hear people talk, Chris Paul is quite old and is about to retire, essentially, right? Now, Chris Paul had an amazing season, but Chris Paul is actually younger than LeBron James. MJ is saying with LeBron, he is immune to injuries. Yes, it's true also that Michael Jordan, he didn't really get injured much either. So he was pretty much injury pro. He did not have any injuries at all. He was immune to it. Michael Jordan, though, in the first few seasons, like his second or third season, he actually got injured and like missed a lot of games. But that was his first few seasons. And for the most part, even though the Bad Boys played dirty basketball against him, he still, for some reason, Michael Jordan still did not have much injuries. And another player I would say is Kobe Bryant. He did not have much injuries in the prime of his career. So that was quite strange to see Kobe Bryant when he's older getting injured so much. It was quite sad to see. Quite sad to see. We're at 23% now. I'm going to the end. And I thank you for support and thank you for still being here. I appreciate it. Gordon Hayward, 3-point shot. Bang, 3-point shot, Gordon Hayward. Yeah, I think that's my Gordon Hayward. I actually got 105 Gordon Hayward from a pool. I guess there's great players like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Surprisingly, they don't get injured as much. And you see certain players like Derrick Rose get injured so much. He's definitely injury prone. And then their careers get hurt in the process. So that's quite disappointing that certain players get injured so much. Now, let's talk about Durant a little bit. Of course, after last season, he got injured. And it's a very serious injury. So we don't know what Kevin Durant will be like when he comes back for the Brooklyn Nets. But hopefully he's healthy. Durant, for the most part in his career, he has some injuries, but they're not very serious. He has missed some games, but I would not call him injury prone. And Russell Westbrook has some injuries as well, but so far he has some injuries, but they're so much small. It hasn't really hurt his career, which is great. And in basketball, even though there's fouls and everything for touches and everything, for the most part, basketball, there's a lot of injuries in the game. That's part of basketball, unfortunately. How the different shape gold is injury prone or not? Yeah, it's quite true. It looks like for some reason because of their body type or something, that's some special body. Looks like the greatest of all time. They don't get injured much. And I'll also say to add to that conversation, Karl Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, from what I've seen of them, they did not get injured much in their careers. Maybe when they're older, like Karl Malone got injured when he was when he came to the Lakers, his last team, and they're like 41, 42 years old. But Karl Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did not get injured much, which is why uh, they're number one, number two on the scoring list in the NBA. Kareem has the most points scored in NBA history, and Karl Malone number two. So they did not get injured much in their careers, and that's probably the reason why they're so high up on the list of most points scored. Now, other players like Larry Bird, he actually got injured and his back, and then he retired quite early. So there are players that, like Larry Bird, like Derrick Rose, Grant Hill, that had especially Grant Hill had serious injuries and a lot of injuries that hurt his career because he was a very good player, Grant Hill. Ibaka the shot. So I would say, um, I do want out of all the teams still left. I want the Clippers to win. I want the Clippers to win just because historically their franchise have been really bad, and they deserve to win that one championship. The Clippers. Now, the second team I hope wins. If the Clippers don't win, the second team I'm rooting for will probably be the Miami Heat. Miami Heat, because their team is very full of, in my opinion, underdog players, a lot of rookies and stuff. But like Jimmy Butler is an underdog, so I would say I'll pick them number two in terms of who I want to win. Number three, I'll pick the Lakers. Because of Kobe Bryant, and their season will be dedicated to Kobe Bryant. So number three, I'll pick the Lakers. And number four, I'll pick the Boston Celtics. I don't know why, but I don't really care too much about the Boston Celtics. I don't know. I don't really care much about the team. I'm not really interested in that team. So if they win, I don't really care. I don't know why. I'm like neutral to the Boston Celtics and that team. And then that's just me personally. Now, in terms of, I do want the Miami Heat to win, but if you look at their franchise, of course, compare a franchise, the Clippers, historically, they are so bad. They never even made it out of second round. In fact, they'll make history just making to the just by participating and being in the Western Conference Finals. Kawhi Leonard has almost brought the Clippers to the Western Conference Final for the first time in franchise history. Miami Heat, though, they've won championships. They had LeBron James and Shaq. So they have three. They had Shaq and Dwayne Wade and stuff. So they have three NBA championship. In my opinion, I think they're a large market team because it's Miami, Florida. So that's my thoughts on that. So I hope Clippers win. Number one. Number two, Miami Heat. Number three, Lakers. Number four, Boston Celtics. Now, there's still other teams still out there that haven't lost yet. Houston Rockets are still playing. Denver Nuggets are still playing, and they're underdogs. Yes, and the Clippers, historically, this has been terrible. But hopefully, they win something. This is their best team they had in years. I was quite surprised when Kawhi Leonard picked the Clippers. I thought he was going to stay with the Toronto Raptors because he won a championship there, and they were like the city of Toronto, or like, and all the fans of the Raptors are begging him basically to stay with the Toronto Raptors. and he still left. So I was quite surprised by that. Also, the LA Lakers also wanted Kawhi Leonard, but he still chose the LA Clippers. I'm quite surprised by that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a mid-range shot, misses that shot. Robin Lopez with the ball. But in terms of teams, that's why I like the Miami Heat. I think they have the most underdog team. And in a sense, they're more of a team instead of a lot of stars on their team, in my opinion. Because Bam is quite young still. Last year, you didn't even hear much about Bam Adebayo. So, he's still pretty new. And then you have Tyler Hero, of course, who's only a rookie. So, I'm rooting for the Miami Heat. And they have Gordon Dragic and Jimmy Butler, who's played in the NBA for a long time. And they're underdogs, in my opinion. So, I always, in terms of team, I'm rooting for the Miami Heat. Now, the Lakers and Clippers, they have their all-stars and their Hall of Famers, of course. So, and even the Boston Celtics have talented players, all-star Jason Tatum and all that. So, Kemba Walker, all-star as well. So, in a sense, I think Miami has the less all-stars for a team. Tyler Hero was a god in high school. Yes, and if you look at old highlights, Tyler Hero was a really great high school player and college player. But I feel like he wasn't hyped enough. Like, there was not enough attention for Tyler Hero. So he should have been drafted much higher. I feel like there's not enough talk about Tyler Hero until this season. I didn't expect him to be that good. I don't think anybody expected him to be that great. But he's incredible right now. And he comes off the bench a lot of times, Tyler Hero. We have Cook with the ball. So it'll be quite interesting to see who wins the championship. Now, after they win the championship, they're going to take a break. And that's actually normally when the NBA season starts, like November, December. But I heard they're going to take a break. And then who knows what's going to happen, really. They're going to take a 3-month break. And then the draft should be around that time. And LaMelo Ball and stuff will come into the NBA. And then eventually they'll play again, maybe after 3 months or something like that. And will they play in the bubble still? I don't know. But I look at baseball and football, the MLB and NFL. I think they're playing in, I don't really watch them, but I think they're playing in their own stadiums. Without fans, though, but they're playing in their own stadium. So you think about it, the NBA was very careful about and safe with the virus. Drake's reaction of Raptors losing. Well, I haven't seen that yet. Drake a huge Toronto Raptors fan. He must have been very sad. And I don't know why, but before even I see that game, I always felt that the Boston Celtics were probably going to win. I don't know. I feel like their Boston Celtics have more stars than the Toronto Raptors. Now, the Toronto Raptors, of course, played really well and played their hearts out. So congratulations to them for having a great season. Nobody really believes in them, and they got such a high seed in the playoffs, which is pretty impressive. And I know a lot of people wanted them to win a championship back to back, but I did not think that was going to happen. And that would have been nice NBA Finals to see the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Finals against Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. That would have been pretty fun to see, fun to watch, but it did not happen. He'll make a song about it. Yeah, Drake, he makes a lot of songs. He's a great rapper, so he might even make a song about it. For sure. Maybe for fun or something. Quinn Cook with the ball. Deion Waiters with the ball. Lays the ball in. One-handed shot. So we'll see who wins. Of course, the most interesting matchup will be the Lakers versus the Clippers, of course. And even though the best overall team, the best roster, the team that plays the best defense is probably the Clippers. Even though it's the Clipper, I still feel like you have the Lakers and LeBron James. It's LeBron James that is quite scary to me. So if I'm a Clipper fan, I don't think that you can defeat LeBron James. I don't know why. It's just because he's the GOAT. So LeBron James, if I'm Clippers, you're kind of a little bit afraid of LeBron James. Even though you have Kawhi Leonard, I still think LeBron's better than Kawhi Leonard. Even though Kawhi Leonard, he's probably in his prime of his career, right? You gotta think about that. He's in his prime of his career. Kawhi Leonard, born 1991, so he is right now 29 years old. He's in his prime. LeBron James, 35 years old. He's supposed to be old, but he's not old. Chris Paul has been very unlucky his entire career. Yes, he has. And I feel sorry for Chris Paul, but he keeps losing in the playoffs a lot. So, feel sorry for him. I don't know if he's going to stay for Oklahoma City Thunder for long, but his contract is horrible. His contract is like huge, massive, like a lot of money. Chris Paul's contract. But if for some reason they could buy him out or waive him, he'll probably sign with either the Clippers or the Lakers or something like that. He would be their point guard. Either he would either come off the bench or he would start. Oh, another thing about the Houston Rockets Lakers series, Rajon Rondo, who has been injured, Rajon Rondo playing really well at basketball, playing really great basketball, was quite surprising. Kawhi Leonard defeated LeBron in the 2004 NBA Finals. Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point, and he did. And at the time, he also had Duncan and Ginobili and Tony Parker, though, and the San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich. So, yes, he has defeated LeBron James. But it remains to be seen if he could do it again. At the time, Kawhi Leonard was the best. You could probably say he's the best player, the youngest player on the Spurs, but they had their old, aging Hall of Famers, Ginobili, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. So he has done it before. Now, if I think that's what the matchup we're all waiting to see. Also, I don't know why they're having some slow motion, but you can see their faces a little bit more. It's pretty cool. They're walking slow motion, acting very cool. David Stern not allowing him to go to Lakers, that when Chris Paul career going downhill. Yeah, he was still pretty good with the even though he was traded to Clippers, he was still pretty good. Chris Paul. That was like when he was in his prime. Chris Paul has been a pretty good player his whole career. He is short and undersized, but he has been a great point guard. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And then, what was I going to say? Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Oh, I was going to say, we always say the greatest of all time is Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Now, if Kawhi Leonard defeats the Lakers, um, and if for some reason Kawhi Leonard can win a championship again, then you have to put him in the GOAT conversation. Kawhi Leonard, you have to put him in the GOAT conversation, greatest of all time. And I will put him up there with LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Kawhi Leonard. So his legacy is on the line. Kawhi Leonard. He should be a Laker. Yeah, Chris Paul back then, of course, a long time ago, was actually traded for, almost traded to the Lakers. So he could have played with Kobe Bryant. And in that time, they had Andrew Bynum. And they essentially traded Andrew Bynum for Dwight Howard. And they could have had a team with Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Kobe Bryant, and maybe even Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom are still there, maybe. And that would have won multiple championships. Now Chris Paul, he probably if for some reason, let's just say Oklahoma City Thunder, they want to start Dennis Schroeder, who deserves a start, as he's a great point guard too, and he's younger, and they somehow buy out Chris Paul's contract, which is a massive contract. I don't know if they could buy him out. Chris Paul would then probably sign with try to win a championship, and then he would most likely pick the Lakers. But he could also kind of need a point guard. And Chris Paul is pretty good friends with LeBron James, and probably would sign with the Lakers. He could even also sign with the LA Clippers, as he's a former LA Clipper. But if he signs with one of those teams, he'd be quite good. He should be a Laker. Paul George must help him defeat the LeBron James. Yes, Paul George, he might even be like the X factor. If Paul George plays really well, then the Clippers have a chance to defeat the Lakers. Paul George. And we've seen Paul George, he could play. He's a really good player. Of course, the Lakers, they need Anthony Davis, of course, to dominate. But the Clippers, if you could have Paul George play really well, like dominate like he was when he was Indiana Pacers, then the Clippers are going to be unstoppable. Especially if Kawhi Leonard continues his amazing play and Paul George plays really well. Chris Paul is not friends with Rajon Rondo. Oh, yes. Good point. They don't really like each other. And yes, Rondo's still there as well. So you don't need another point guard. But even maybe they personally don't like each other. You wonder if they want to win a championship that badly, that Chris Paul might try to sign with the Lakers, regardless of Rondo. Of course, Rondo was a Boston Celtic, and he won a championship with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. And Rondo still signed with the Lakers, kind of the rivals of the Celtics. And he's teammates now with LeBron James, and the Celtics were rivals of the Cavaliers back then. So it could work. Playoff Pete, don't throw. Yeah. Paul George, I hope, plays well in the playoffs. Could you say Paul George is better than Anthony Davis? You could probably debate that, because we know how good Paul George could be when he's good, and different position, of course. Anthony Davis, a power forward, and Paul George, a small forward. Although he could play power forward as well. My phone is ended. Thank you for coming. My phone's about to end. Have a great night.